Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and welcome to our Christmas Handmade for the Holiday Hop, sponsored by Country Craft Creations. As a design team member, I've made a great project to share with you, and as you've seen, there are rules for how to enter this contest. And you may have already seen the video telling you what to min. So I encourage you to watch all the other design team video and comment so you have a chance to win. The paper pad I used was Jingle all the way from Echo Park, the collection kit, and the 6x6 paper pad. I also received the ephemera pack from Country Craft Creations, and I use half of that. But let me tell you, with the rest of that, the scraps, you can make some great Christmas cards because there's some great sentiments in the ephemera pack. So if you're going to get this collection, don't forget to get the ephemera kit. Let me show you what I made. Here is my mini album. This is a 6x6x2 mini album. It's very simple, with the idea that you might want to make several to give out at Thanksgiving or to give for gifts. The cover has some stickers from the collection kit and a cut apart and then some paper. I did use the Country Craft Creations craft colored start cardstock, and I've got to tell you, that is fabulous to work with. It's not the artisan cardstock, but it is a great base and it's so easy to work with. So don't forget to put that on your shopping list. So let me take you inside. On the inside front cover, it has a flap, and there's a magnet on that little pocket. So there's a photo mat and a cut apart. I did decorate with some stickers on that little pocket, but you could just leave that as a journaling spot if you didn't want to have the stickers. But just think of how pretty this would be to put a photo right there. So there are 5 signatures in this book, and all of the fronts of the pages are the same, with 2 flaps and a journaling card or cut apart with a magnet holding it in. So the flaps open, and here's the page inside. That one has a little tuck spot, and the holly jolly is a tuck spot at the top. And I put some holly stickers on that quarter. The pages are 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, so you still could put a crop down 4x6 photo, or a 5x5, 4x4, or whatever. It depends on what photo size you have. So that's the first page, and on the back of the first page is a tall pocket with a photo mat inside the pocket. I just love that wood grain with the snowflakes on it. There's some throughout the collection, which is why that craft cardstock went really well. There's a cut apart, and inside I've got a sticker and a cut apart that I adhered on the bottom, so it is another tuck spot. The Merry and Bright is another ephemera piece, and the little ornament on the bottom right is a sticker. Just think of how cute this would be with pictures of your Christmas tree or whatever you decorate your home with. So the back of page 2 has these 2 flaps. I left it simple so you could put photos there and they'll be the star of the show. And then I've got the cut apart with the flaps, a little tuck spot from the ephemera kit. And then the little presents I actually cut out from an ephemera piece, and it just really went with that no peeking piece. The back of the page has a belly band with a cut apart, and there is the photo mat. That little tree came from a 2x2 cut apart. I just used my corner rounder on the corners. I love this fresh picked Christmas tree cut apart, and so that flap opens up. I put the stickers of those flags on cardstock, and it's open on the bottom, and so the Christmas tree is also open on the bottom. And of course you still could put a photo there. The next page has a side pocket with a photo mat, and the photo mats that are inside the book are 5.5 by 5.5. And then that little flap opens, so there's more room for your picture. And I love this page because I love the Santa and I love the paper. So that opens up, and there is a large tuck spot to put photos or any ephemera that you might have. The back of page 5 has another tuck spot with some cut-aparts, a sticker on the corner of that flap, and the side packet contains a photo mat and a couple of the adorable cut-aparts that come from the collection. The Holly Jolly and the Snowman are stickers from the sticker sheet. So that's what I have for you. Just hang on and I will show you how to make this with a free tutorial so you can get started with your Christmas projects as well. So let's get started. I've already done a video showing how I construct the mini album cover, and I will put a link in the description box below so you can go and see that. But the sizes of chipboard you'll need are 2 that are 6 by 6 and 1 piece of chipboard that is 6 by 2 for the spine. To cover the mini album, you'll need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 8 by 8 and 1 to cover the spine that is 5 by 8. The rest of the measurements I will be talking about during the tutorial. Alright, now we're going to make the hinge system. So you'll need a piece of cardstock that is 6.5 by 5 3/4. The 6.5 inch side is going to be at the top. I've lightly scored it just so I can talk and think at the same time. So anyhow, you're going to start at 1/2 inch, 1 3/8, 1 7/8, 2 3/8, 2 3/4, 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 4 1/8, 4 5/8, 5 1/8, 5 1/2, 6, and that's it. So what we have is hinge, hinge, gusset, hinge, hinge, gusset. So we'll have a 3/8 inch gusset all the way. I'm going to fold it in the center of where those 2 1/2 inch lines are. And by the way, trim a smidgen, I mean just a smidgen off of both ends. So just go ahead and do that now, and then come back and fold in between those 1/2 inch hinges. Just fold in the center of them. Alright, we're going to glue those together. So I'm starting to the one on the right, but it doesn't matter. And grab your bone folder and then we'll fold the gusset and burnish. And now I'm going to push the paper down and fold that hinge so it makes a V. And we'll fold those 2 together. We'll do the next set of hinges. Fold those together. I'm bending back the gusset. Alright, the next set of 1/2 inch hinges. And of course you don't have to put glue on both of them. Just one side And what I do is I burnish until the glue pops out and then just clean it up. So one more. And now I want to make sure that the hinge will move back and forth. So I'm going to burnish it in one direction. Then I'm going to turn them the other way. Oops. And burnish in this direction. And do that a couple of times just so it gets used to folding back and forth, and that'll help when you're putting the pages in. Alright, let us grab the book. And I'm going to fold the hinges that are on the outer edges in towards the center and just eyeball it and see just eyeball it, and then make sure you know where it's going to go. I'm going to add glue. Now I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm not going to be stingy. I don't want too much glue coming out of the sides because I don't want to make a mess. But you know, if it does, we just clean it up. So I'm going to grab that hinge, holding it on the outside pieces, and center it just like you did before. And that looks good. So I'm going to take my finger and gently go back and forth. Alright, we're going to let that sit there and we're going to make the pages. Alright, now we're going to make the base page, and you are going to find this super easy method of making the base pages. So cut 5 pieces of cardstock, 5 3/4 by 11 1/2. 5 pieces, 5 3/4 by 11 1/2. You're going to put it with the 11 1/2 inch side at the top and score at 5 3/4 for all 5 pieces. We are not making a tube like I normally do. We're just going to try a super easy method of making pages. This is a great mini album if you need to make several in a hurry. Alright, so now that we've gotten that, let's go ahead and grab our album. I am hoping that the glue is dried, which it has, and this is fabulous. So now let's take the first piece, the page, come on, and I'm going to take it and I am going to fold it at the score line, making sure that all the sides, top, bottom match. So we'll score it there. So what we're going to do is add it to the hinge without any fuss, any muss. So put some adhesive, put some liquid glue. I want it 2/3 to the top. I want the third that's closest to the spine without any glue. So now we're going to line this up. Let me come down a little bit more. That's pretty good. So line the piece of cardstock up so you have, so see over here, I need something dark underneath, or more like that. I'm going to put it 2/3 of the way to the bottom, line it up, making sure it's even here. You don't want it wonky on the page. It's even here. And I'm just going to pull it up and just make sure it's got an even line across, and that looks good. So now what we'll do, we're going to put tags in here. If you're not going to put tags in, you could glue the whole thing shut. If you're going to put short tags, you could glue it halfway. We're going to have long tags, so we're just going to glue it at the bottom. So I'm going to add some of the art glitter glue at the bottom. And there. We're going to fold that over. And burnish. There's some glue coming out. That's okay. We'll let it come out. And there we go. So now you have a page that not only folds easy, but lies completely flat. So we're going to do that with the rest of the pages and get the base pages in. Okay, so we're done with that part of the book. Now we will put the embellishments on the pages. Alright, so I took some of my scraps. I had a 4x12 piece, but I cut it to 5 inches, 5 3/4 inches. Put the 4 inside at the top and score at 1/2 inch. And let's go ahead and grab scissors and just miter the corners a little bit. And we're going to take and fold and burnish. And now I will put one of these on the right side and one on the left side. So just make sure the bottom's lined up. So there's one there. And one there. And we're going to do that to all 5 other pages. So go ahead and do that. So you'll need 10 pieces that are 4 by 5 3/4, and you're going to put the 4 inside at the top and score at 1/2 inch. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the front inside pocket, which is simply a flap with a side pocket. You can use the pocket for ephemera, for photo mats, photos, whatever you want. I also will show you how to do the magnet in this page, but I won't be showing you how to do the magnet throughout the mini album. Okay, so to make that page you'll need 2 pieces. 7 by 3 is the first one, 6 by 6 is the second. 7 by 3, 6 by 6. Take the 7 by 3 inch piece, put the 3 inch side at the top, and score at 1/2 inch. And then rotate, and with the long side at the top, score at 1/2 inch. Rotate again with the other long side, score at 1/2 inch. The 6x6, just simply score one of the sides at 1/2 inch. And then we need to miter the corners. First I'm going to use the corner rounder. I just like the finished look of a corner rounder. You could use a decorative punch or just leave it the same, whatever you'd like to do. And I also want to show you how I miter the corners when it comes to trimming some of the page and trying to reduce bulk. So instead of going straight across, I go straight and then turn the scissors and cut again. I'm going to cut these off and then I'll show you what I mean. So I put it, do a regular cut and then turn the scissors and cut so it's more than a 90-degree angle. And here I'll show you why. I'm going to go ahead and fold down where I scored and see how you see there's a gap, so those won't overlap. Now this one I just cut at a 90-degree angle and there's a little bit of an overlap. It's really not a huge deal. It's just if you have a mini album that starts to get bulky and you think it might have alligator mouth, meaning it won't close all the way, then this will help reduce bulk. This has a big enough gusset that will be okay, but it's just a habit I've gotten into and always trim my corners that way. All right, let's go ahead and put the glue on. Again, I'm using my Art Glitter Glue Designer Dry as Clear, and we'll go ahead and put that piece to the right side of the paper. I just want to double check, make sure I see where it folds, and I'll put that to the right, making sure the top and bottom are lined up. You could simply use that side pocket without a flap, but I just decided I'm going to put a flap on this page. And then we take the 6x6 piece after I get all the glue off of it and miter the corners. Nothing special here. Fold and burnish and put that to the left side of the page and make sure it's adhered. I also end up doing this for the back inside cover, but let me finish this page first. I'll go ahead and burnish, open it up and burnish again, make sure it's down. And now that it's down, I am going to show you how I put on the magnets. And I like putting the magnets on before I start covering the book, just so I don't forget to do it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the basic gray small magnetic discs. They are available at countrycraftcreations.com. And I will grab a set, so one positive and one negative. There's the positive, there's the negative. And I'll start by taking the backing off of one. It doesn't matter which. So I'll go ahead and grab that paper backing. And then I will let the negative one match with the positive. I just sort of drop it and let it match, and then I'll go ahead and take the adhesive side and put it on one side of the paper, and I'm going to put it about 1/4 of an inch from the edge, maybe 3/8 of an inch. If you have big matte margins, then do 3/8 of an inch. If you do small matte margins, you can live with 1/4 of an inch. But I go ahead and put it up at the top, well, at the side of the paper. And then I peel off the adhesive on the negative one, and then just fold the page over and let it just fall naturally, push the magnet down, and now that's in place. So just to make sure that this stays in place, since I am using this book for a tutorial, I'm taking some Scotch tape, cellophane tape, whatever, and putting it over the magnet, just as an added precaution that it's not going to move around, because sometimes they just get stuck and they want to be right next to each other. So there we go. That is done, and we are ready to move on to the next page. All right, we're going to do the same page for the back cover. It's a flap with a pocket. But I'm going to do it a little differently. But grab a 7x3 piece of paper and a 6x6 piece of cardstock, I mean. Score the 7x3 on the long side and the two short sides. And the 6x6 just score on one side. Go ahead and miter the corners as usual. I'm going to use the paper punch to punch the edge. Fold and burnish. And miter my corners at a little more than 90 degrees. And then miter those other two corners. Okay. So now on the inside back cover, we're going to first fold and burnish the pocket. My area looks clean, doesn't it? I just don't want to show you what's outside of the camera. So now, and this time, I'm just going to put the liquid adhesive on the long side. And that will go close to where the fold is. And just try to get it even on the page. Go ahead and burnish and make sure that is down. And then I'm going to grab my Scotch tape again and put that down on top of the area we just put down. That way, when you're putting a photo mat or whatever you put in the pocket, if I don't have the paper going all the way to the end, it will go in a little smoother. Now, I might cover this whole thing with paper, but it helps go nice and smooth. And I'll go ahead and add glue. Sorry, it's out of frame. And then we will go ahead and put the flap down also. I like using that cellophane whenever I'm doing pockets. It's fabulous. I saw Tamara from Country Craft Creations doing that, and it is a genius idea. So anyhow, I'm going to put that down, make sure the side and the bottom are lined up properly. Go ahead and burnish. And I'll go ahead and put the magnet on before I decorate, but there is the back inside cover. Now, the back of page 1 has a big pocket. Very simple. All you need is 6 3/4 by 4 1/2, and we're going to score on 2 short sides and 1 long side. Easy enough. Go ahead and miter the corners. And my little more than 90-degree angle cut. I guess I need to clean my scissors. Things are sticking to it. But anyhow, go ahead and fold and burnish on your score lines. And let's add glue to the bottom There's the cover, there's page 1. This is for the back of page 1. So we'll just put glue down on the bottom. And line that up to the bottom. Making sure the side, it goes more over to the left-hand side of the page than the right. And then I'll burnish here, and then the magical tape. Go ahead and put that down. And that way, when you're putting something in the pocket, it's going to not get held up by the tab. All right, and then I'll go ahead and put the rest of it down. So I'll add the glue to the other tabs and put it down and burnish. So if you like this feature, you could repeat this throughout the rest of the album. I'm going to show you different features to add to the backs of the pages. But if you're making an album and you're trying to make maybe several at a time, just use the same feature to make it easy on yourself. That way you could get Christmas gifts done or whatever albums you're making. And if you do a 6x4 pocket, then you might have some 6x4 cut-aparts that would be perfect on there. But now we're going to work on the back of page 2, which is just 2 flaps opposite each other. So for this you'll need 2 pieces 4.5 by 5. Put the 4.5 side at the top and score down 1/2 inch on the side. We'll go ahead and grab scissors and miter the corners. And we will fold and burnish on the score lines. So let's put them in the book. This is, again, the back of page 2. And you could put them so they're even, or you could put one up on the top and one on the bottom. I'm going to do one on the top, one on the bottom, just to add a little more interest, because I've already got the flaps on the fronts of the pages. So put it closest to the left-hand side and the top, and the other one's going to be on the bottom and on the right-hand side. Make sure you don't go any further than the edge of the page. All right, easy enough. Go ahead and burnish. I'll open it up and burnish, make sure that's down well. I'll probably put a magnet on this, but let's go ahead to the next page. So the back of page 3 is just going to be a simple belly band. So what you'll need for that is 6 3/4 by 1.5 piece of cardstock. Put the long side at the top and score at 1/2 inch and rotate and score. You don't have to rotate. You could go ahead and score at 6 1/4, but I've just gotten in the habit of rotating it just to make sure that my measurements are good. Sometimes you'll change the page, but anyhow. All right, let's go ahead and miter these corners. And go ahead and fold and burnish that 1/2 inch tab. I love using belly bands. They're a great design feature. You can cover it with paper and then use a sticker or a cut apart or decorate it whatever way you want. And it holds in the photo mat on the page, so that's the important thing. Go ahead and make sure it's centered on the page. I put it on the bottom and then put it on the top. I'm sorry, I'm still out of frame. Burnish, and then there we go. So that is done. Let's move on to the next one. The back of page 4 is going to be this flap and a pocket. So what you'll need for that are 2 pieces of cardstock, 5 by 6 3/4 and 4 by 5 3/4. I already scored this one, but we'll do it again. So put the 5-inch side at the top, score it 1/2 inch, then rotate, and with the long inch side at the top, score 1/2 inch. I rotate and score again. As you can see, I've already mitered the corners. The one with 4 by 5 3/4, just put the 4-inch side at the top and score 1/2 inch. Go ahead and miter the corners, fold and burnish. So again, with the 4-inch side at the top, score it 1/2 inch and miter. So take the 4 by 5 3/4 with the flap to the left side, and then the other one put the flap on the right hand side. Sorry, I wrote the measurements upside down. But we're going to take the flap and put it over to the left hand side, the side that doesn't have the fold on it, and center it top to bottom. Oop, it slid. Do your best to center it top to bottom. All right, trying to get it perfect, and then burnish. Now we'll take this and put glue on that longer side so I can use the tape trick. I want to turn off my phone. It's going to ping. I don't want it to ping right now. So I'll put that on the right hand side of the page. Don't go past the edge of the base page. Just do that one, burnish, and then grab the tape and put it on and burnish that. That way, whatever you have in that pocket will slide real well. So now put glue, sorry, out of frame, and put glue on the top and bottom tabs. Fold that over and burnish. All right, so now you've got that flap there, and you've got a side loading pocket. All right, that's it for that page. And the next one is the back of page 5, and this one we're going to leave alone. I'm going to put decorative paper on there and then just have a tuck spot with a sticker or an embellishment. That's it for the tutorial on how I made the Home for the Holidays mini album, and now I'm going to show you pictures on how I decorated it. And that is my project for the Christmas hop. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you see when we post the list of winners. Go ahead and go look at all the other participant videos, and don't forget to comment on everybody, and good luck. I hope you get to win one of the fabulous collections from Country Craft Creations or one of the gift cards so you can see all of the fabulous things they have from their store. Thank you again. Have a fabulous day.